Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. Welcome to Demystify the Divine, readings and tools to connect. How is everyone doing today? I made an Instagram video this morning. It was my first day in like 2 weeks to be able to go and spend a couple hours at the pool. It's how I recharge. And I was talking about all of the crazy tech stuff that has been going on. And I got to tell you, it's just been insane. I don't know if it's been the same for you guys, but we're not even in a Mercury retrograde yet. The Mercury retrograde has not even happened. And I feel like I've been in it for a month. And it's just every time I turn around, there's some weird tech thing going on where things that you're expecting to do, you push the button and the button's supposed to do something and it's not. So, if you guys are having the same kind of, week as me, month as me, I feel for you because I know how frustrating it's been. And my goodness, I hope we're able to sort of move through it. Good evening, Raigu. Hello, Jacqueline. Hello, Jade. So nice to see you guys. So I'm just going to put this out there at the beginning. I am super tired today. I think all of the super moon and the new moon coming up and all of the crazy energies, and I've been working like a fool. Hello, Karen. Nice to see you. It's just got me really tired. So I'm going to do, kind of a card pull, and get a little message. And then we're just going to dive right into questions because, yeah, I just feel kind of like I'm shutting down. If anyone can relate, please feel free to raise your hand. Let me know. It's funny because I'm usually very, very energetic. I got tons of energy. I even took a nap today. That's where I'm at. I even took a nap today and I'm still just kind of feeling like, it's like I describe it, when I've been tuning in for people too much or like overdoing it and not taking enough time for myself. It's almost like the frontal lobe of my head kind of turns a little mushy. It's kind of like I can still read, but I'm like a vegetable. It's like I'm literally just the conduit, just spitting it out. There's not a whole lot of affect. It just is what it is. And so I'm not feeling exactly, oh, thank you, Heather, for validating me. I think it must be something with the energies. One of my good friends said that she's been struggling too, needing to take a nap, and it's not like her. And she's like the Energizer bunny. She goes for I think she just sleeps for 4 hours. So she's got 20 hours in the day and she's on and she's engaged and helping people and all the rest of it. So I'm a little more boundaried with my time. I'm kind of like, okay, this is the time when I can, do the client stuff. This is the time that I have for the back end stuff. And this is time where I just, I need to just be me. I need to not, sort of not be in that. And I'm Energizer Bunny too, but not quite to that degree. So anyway, I got a brand new tarot deck. It literally just arrived. I think Amazon dropped it at my doorstep maybe 15 minutes before we got on this, got on this call. So it's called Heavenly Bloom Tarot. And it's the first time I'm shuffling it. So let's just kind of see what the universe wants to share with us. And I want to say, because there's a lot of activity going on right now, maybe some messages, what we need to know to kind of empower ourselves, like to maybe boost our energy or to navigate the waters while our energy levels are going to be a little lower. Oh, beautiful. So the first card we get is the Magician. I love the Magician. So it's a number 1. So new beginnings, right? It's new beginnings. It's also create for creation's sake. And what I love about the Magician right now, just sort of as I'm tuning in, is the Magician says, I've chosen the fool's journey. I've chosen the path. I've chosen to be in this body. I've chosen to have this experience. And I have all of these resources. And so it's up to me to pick and choose what I need. And I can combine those things, I can alchemize those things to really support me on my journey. So what I feel is going on here is the message is, if you're feeling tired, use the resources at your fingertips. So, for example, if you work corporate, having some PTO, having sick leave, taking advantage of that would be a really good thing, right? Also, any kind of, I'm hearing natural supplements to supplement the energy levels in your body, to give you a little bit of boost. B12 is great for that. B12 helps to kind of regulate all of the different systems in your body, clears things out, but also keeps you clear and focused. So if you're struggling with focus, B12 is a good way to do that. I'm also getting that this particular period of time that we're in, with the magician, it's like understanding that we also need to bring in a little bit of the magic. And I feel like this is connected to our the portal, the 8-8 portal. We need to bring in the magic. We need to understand that we bring the magic. It's not seeking it outside of yourself, it's going within to grab the magic. And if your energy levels are waning, that means you definitely need to do some self-care. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to access that magic, right? Also, I want to say it's like, stop looking outside of yourself. Stop going outside of yourself. It's one thing to go outside of yourself for, I want to say, a second opinion, um, or where you really don't have clarity, like you're too in the weeds with your situation. But otherwise, I feel like the magician kind of says, sit with all of your resources first. Talk to your resources, get to know your resources, because it might just be that you need a little bit of time or a little bit of opportunity to sit in the energy of it so that it can reveal itself to you, rather than looking immediately for the distraction. I don't know. I feel like somebody needed to hear that. Feels like a kind of a random, sorry, an oddly specific message. Then we've got the Wheel of Fortune, also a 1. It's 10, new beginnings based on an already established foundation. So I really feel, just as I'm tapping, sorry, I'll show you the card. Just as I'm tapping in, I feel like the ones are coming through because of that 8-8 portal. It's almost like that was the reset, or actually, reset isn't the right terminology. This is the new chapter. This is the turning point. This is the rounding the corner. And I feel like on the day of the 8-8 portal, I felt pretty energized. Today, I'm feeling like I'm integrating some of that energy. But Wheel of Fortune is coming through because it's saying you get to choose your destiny. You get to choose your path. Yes, the universe is going to throw you some things on your path that either, maybe we can call them curveballs, or we can call them different opportunities that maybe you hadn't thought to explore. You didn't think that this was going to be on the path. But ultimately, we have the option to choose it. So the Wheel of Fortune is how outside forces affect us, but it's also about, okay, the outside forces that are around us, we get to choose how we engage with that or not engage with that. And just kind of looking at this card, it's the first time that I'm looking at it here. We've got sort of an angel in the corner. We've got sort of like a genie reading a book. Another woman reading a scroll, and then this other, I think there's a crystal here. I'm not sure. It looks like a bird or a crystal. So I want to say it's kind of talking about the elements, dealing with the elements of things. And I feel like this is important as well, because the magician deals with all 4 of the elements. And now we've got sort of being personas of those elements as well. So I really feel like the message here is paying attention to what's right in front of you, paying attention to the elements and the resources, rather than throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, rather than automatically going for the distraction or automatically going for the quick fix. It's sitting in, getting still, being quiet with ourselves, and allowing allowing our guides to speak to us, whether that's through an inspired thought, or whether it's through the, well, let me try. I feel like I'm supposed to pick up this object and this object. Okay, let me sit with these two objects. If I combined them, what could they create, and how could that help me? I feel like it's an invitation for us to be a little more responsible for our own needs right now, and relying on source, self and source, not so much relying on others. I'm laughing inside my head right now because when I was at the pool, I was looking for distraction all over the place because I just needed to be out of my head. And I was looking at I watch certain tarot readers and stuff too, because I'm always curious to see sort of what other people do, what they're, what's out there. And the interpretations are always so vast and unique, and I love that. And I'm laughing because I was in that mode where I was like, I'm looking for some distraction. I'm looking for somebody to tell me what I'm supposed to do. Well, duh, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be listening to my guides, right? I'm supposed to be listening to source and listening to myself. So I'm right there with you. All right. So I can't remember exactly what I said in terms of the question, but I feel like this is like things that can empower us to help us through these energies. Interesting. We've got Five of Swords. So Five of Swords is a card of conflict, and it's also really relevant to I want to say monkey mind. And I want to say, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And that's what I'm really hearing here is, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy? And some of that, maybe that's what's going on with us in our fatigue right now, is understanding that maybe we are putting too much emphasis on the ego. Maybe we're allowing the ego to steer our ships rather than being more in the space of receiving and saying, okay, let's focus on solutions. Let's not focus on the problem. Let's focus on solutions to the problem. Five of Swords also, what I'm hearing is, and I feel like this is specific to some of us, but not all of us, really paying attention to contracts, contractual obligations, in this next sort of window of time and window of energy, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Maybe it's time to change up some contractual obligations that you have. I feel like for some of us, there's an opportunity to review those things and to decide what we're going to continue on with, and maybe what other things it's time to put an end to it. Another analogy that's just coming into my mind, I went through all of my TV subscriptions, right? Like I don't have that many, but I kind of went through them because I'm like, okay, what am I really watching right now and what I'm not, and what am I not? And with this TV subscriptions, you can always unsubscribe. You binge for a month or whatever, and then you unsubscribe, and then you can always re-sign up again. It's not rocket science, right? So I was like, okay, here are the ones that I use faithfully, and here are the ones that I'm not using. So I need to sort of lighten the load. And I feel like that's kind of the message here as well, is understanding where you can lighten the load, where you can let go of some things, knowing that you're shifting some of those contracts, knowing that I can always renegotiate my contract. I can always renegotiate how I choose to invest my energy into people, places, and things. So that's really interesting. I feel like our guides through the cards just kind of gave us a blueprint for, sort of this next chunk of time that we're all in. All right, I'm going to shut up for a second, and let's pull some cards for some people. Let's ask some questions. Who's up, Hakeem? Who's up?
No one quite yet. Let me drop the code one more time.
All right.
But weirdly enough, I was saying I think you were calling me out even when you said this message is oddly specific. I was
You
like,
were like, it's for
is
me.
my energy going like energy overload right now? Um,
I think a lot of us are feeling that for sure. I see Terry's put something in the feed. You can always start with somebody in the feed. So I'm just going to read what she says here. Hello, while on vacation, I saw every combination of triple digits, some numbers 333 777 999 444. It was literally around every corner we turned. It was so obvious. My husband picked up on it too. What do you think was up with all those numbers? It was a 2-week trip. Oh, Terry, this is great. I love this because I know a lot of people have been noticing this, and the 333 has been coming up for me actually just in the last 2 days. So first of all, when you get, I want to say like a real number of these numbers where you're seeing a lot of, or you're seeing a lot of the numbers in variety, like what you're describing, basically, it's your guides really trying to bring your attention to all of the things that are going on. I'm hearing for you, it was presence. It was helping you to remain present because you were on vacation. And I feel like you were kind of in your head about a lot of things. And whenever you saw the number, it brought you into presence of mind, because then you're like, oh, I'm seeing the number again. I know this is connected to self and source. I know this is connected to my guides. And then it puts you in the, I want to say, in that frequency of, ooh, I wonder what this message is. I wonder what this reminds me of. So I feel like that was one of the reasons why it was like a game. It was like the universe sort of playing a game with you. But I'll go through each of them in succession. So the 333, it's connected to ascended master energy. It's connected to creation. And it's basically saying, there's a lot of co-creation going on for you right now. So pay attention, because your ascended masters are trying to connect with you. Who are the ascended masters? Ascended masters are individuals like Buddha, Jesus, uh, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, just to pull out, to name a few. There are tons of them. But they're individuals, beings that incarnated in the physical, have had physical lifetimes, and they've ascended. They've gone through the ascension process, and they're at that enlightened place where they no longer have to incarnate, and they're here to help us to kind of finish out that incarnation process. So the threes, I feel it's very much about an invitation to, what are you co-creating right now? You're big into manifesting. You're big into what you're trying to create. So the 333 is reminding you, hey, either something in your environment is something that you created, and pay attention, otherwise you're going to miss it, or there's something in this environment that you can use to co-create for something down the road for yourself. I think you also had in there 444. So 4 is foundational. It's the work and effort that goes into levels of foundation. It's also about protection. It's about planning, laying a foundation, creating a plan. So the 444, and it would be curious to see when you saw that, and what was going on inside your trip, because I feel like it was like an acceleration of the plans that you had made, and that there was going to be a shift in a plan, like a new plan coming into the mix. So hearing that and feeling that coming up. I think also one of the other numbers on there was 777. That's really cool, because 7 is the number of divinity. So when the 777 comes up, it's basically you're in alignment. You're in alignment. It's 3 sevens. So body, mind, spirit, right? Head, heart, soul. You're in alignment with source. You're in alignment with divinity in big ways. So when you've got that 777, it's kind of like, oh, I've hit the right frequency. I'm vibing. There's something here that is reminding me of my core essence. It's reminding me of my home frequency. Let me sit in it. Let me expand myself into that. I think there was another number on there, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Can I access this? Oh yeah, I can access this. 999. So the triple nines. Oh, thank you, Hakeem. That's great. So the 999 is interesting as well. 9 is completions, endings, conclusions, wrapping things up. It's also the number of service, being in service, being of service. So the triple nines, I feel like for you, it's sort of when you were seeing this, it was representing certain areas that you were. I'm just getting this as a download. Certain areas, certain environments that you were in, where there's an ending to the way that energy has been shifted or molded. I'm not even sure where you went, but what I keep seeing in my mind's eye is like Georgia, for example, like Savannah, Georgia, where you go into these areas that have such history, steeped in a lot of old world energy. And if you're seeing nines in those spaces, I feel like it's representative of you showing up, your energy, that starseed energy or that light worker energy, that awareness of energy is shifting, it's healing any negative energies from that space. And you're really kind of moving in to, oh, I needed to be here, not just for me and my own experience, but it's part of my soul contract with this area, with this environment. So I feel like, oh my God, Georgia, holy shitballs. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool, Terry. That's really cool. So, because I keep seeing Georgia and I keep seeing Savannah in particular, but it's because Savannah, I've only been to Savannah and I've been to Atlanta. So I've only been to 2 places in Georgia. I don't really know any of the other places. So sometimes they just access whatever pictures I kind of already have in my mind. But I'm seeing like this old hospital that probably was like a mental facility way back in the day. And like that's kind of what I'm picturing. And I'm picturing a park and a bunch of different things. So I feel like your presence was shifting that energy. So that's great. Thank you so much for submitting that question, because I think a lot of people um, have questions about numbers, because numbers are coming up, and it's a way that our guides communicate with us because it is a universal language, and we pay attention to it. All right, Indu. Hey, Indu, how are you doing?
Good, good, good. How are you, Stacy?
I'm doing all right. How are you feeling? I know you've been kind of under the weather for a while.
Perfectly fine now.
Good. You're right as rain.
Totally recovered.
Good. And how's the hand? Is he fully recovered yet, or is he still feeling
He
some symptoms?
Good news is he just tested negative today.
Yay!
Woo-hoo. So
That's
we officially put everything behind us. We're
good. I'm
good
so
to go.
glad for that. So glad to hear that. That's awesome. So do you have a question for me, or would you like a card pulled today?
Just a card pull, just some gentle guidance for the next 4 weeks.
All right. Let's see what we got. One of the biggest focuses for you in this next time period, I feel like, is putting your peace first, choosing peace over everything else. I'm seeing that there's going to be some kind of family news. It feels like from afar. So I feel like this is I would say back home from afar. So
Mhm.
not the grandkids, back home from afar. And it's going to, the purpose of the news, I feel, is to kind of disrupt your peace. So it's
Mhm.
going to be up to you to say, I don't allow that into my space. Like I'm not going to receive it in the way that you're delivering it. So be cautious with that. All right, your card, 3 of Swords. So I love this depiction of the 3 of Swords because an interesting, I didn't even look at the card, and I was talking about peace. And whenever I get a peace dove, I always think of I think peace and I think freedom. So there's this beautiful peace dove that's on this card. That's so funny. I always say you can't make this shit up. I love it. And sometimes, I tell people sometimes, like I've been doing this for 10 years. Sometimes I even doubt myself. I doubt my own abilities, and the universe likes to play with me. My guides like to play with me, and they're like, "Oh, you're doubting yourself? Well, watch this. We're going to give you something that you can't talk your way out of, right?" So, 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords and the traditional tarot kind of indicates like a heartbreak or a matter of the heart that usually it's depicted with 3 swords sort of through the heart. But what that really means is, I feel like for you it's about the self-care comes through the peace, and maybe it means distancing yourself from individuals who have negative self-talk or negative talk to you in particular. I keep hearing the word expectation.
Mhm.
So either someone has expectation of you that you're just not prepared to provide, or the message is for you to release expectation around things that you've done for people for all these years that you're just not feeling into doing right now. I feel like expectation is an important word, and expectation is going to bring peace. Releasing expectation. Sorry, I'm so tired. Releasing expectation is going to bring you the peace that you're looking for. It's also going to bring you liberation. What's interesting is I feel like, and I've been privy to this with you, but you've been through a chunk of time where there's been like a lot of expectation placed upon you to get something done. And I feel like it's almost like it gave you an overdose of expectation to the point where normally you're good and you'll do what you think you're supposed to do. But this was like so overdone and over the top that It pushed you to another extreme where you're just like, I'm so over it and I don't want to do it anymore. So this, I feel, is helping you to kind of bring it back into balance, not back to where you were, because where you were was, I want to say, not boundaried enough. This is going to bring, and now you're kind of like too boundaried, right? So it's like, this is going to bring you more into that space of, okay, you're giving me this information and I get to choose what I take from it and what I do with it. So thanks for sharing. Just because you shared it in that way doesn't mean that I have to dance to your tune. So I feel like for you, it's really, you asked for a gentle message and then you get the 3 of Swords. Sorry.
That's okay.
I feel like it's coming through because your guides want to give you that gentleness. They want to give you that peace, and they're telling you this is how you're going to do it, because we can't predict what other people are going to do. We can't stop other people from saying what they're going to say and the way they're going to say it, or from, choosing bad timing, to pass on information. So the choice comes in what you're choosing to do with it, and the boundaries that you're setting. For what it's worth, I really love this interpretation of the card because I see a lot of blue. It does bring peace, and it brings a sense of, I feel like for you, you're going to feel a sense of calm knowing. There's a calm knowingness that's coming up. And I feel like that's really important. All right. That's what I got for you today.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. And I
So
send you good vibes. Rest
thank,
up. Feel better soon.
thank you so much. I'm feeling fine. I'm just tired. I need a little bit of a break. So I'll feel fine when I have a little more of a nap. And I got my recording day tomorrow. So I'll just do recordings and just be able to take kind of an easy day. I won't have to tune in so much. So that'll be a good thing. So thank you, though. I appreciate that for sure. Sending you guys love.
Thank you. Here's the hand again.
Hi, hand. We'll see you later. All right, we'll take one more question or card pull from the feed. So, Hakeem, looks like Hakeem's having some tech trouble. I told you, Hakeem, we're in, you and I are both in some kind of funky Mercury retrograde. All right, I'm seeing that Karen asked for a card pull. So I don't know if you were in the feed or not, but Karen, you're the one that I'm being drawn to today. So let's pull a card for you today. I'm hearing a weird message, actually, before I even look at the card for you. I'm hearing like, don't stop the chatter. Don't stop the chatter. That's interesting because normally when we think chatter, we think a lot of like superfluous noise that can be distracting to what we need to hear. But I'm feeling for you, don't stop the chatter. Feels like what you want to do is in the chatter, it's, how sometimes our ears will naturally, we might be in a full room of people and there's one person that we know really well. Our ear is so attuned to hearing that person's voice that we can pick that voice out of a crowd of 100 people. I feel like there's something in this message for you. Don't stop the chatter because you want to listen into the chatter, because in the chatter, there's going to be something you can focus on that's going to give you what you need. And it's the answer to a question that you've been asking for about 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. So I don't know where this chatter is, but they're just saying, don't stop the chatter. Instead, listen into the chatter because there's a message. It might even be that maybe you've taken like a social media hiatus. It might be, okay, don't take the hiatus quite yet, because there's something in there for you to listen to. So I don't know where that audience is coming from with the chatter, but I'm just hearing that. Okay, beautiful. You got Page of Cups. So Page of Cups is all about creativity. It's a card of creativity. It's a card of playfulness, innocence. Pages are all about service. And this card really, I'm seeing for you at this particular period of time, it's about opening yourself to being more playful. It's interesting that we got the Magician earlier, create for creation's sake. And this is the card of creativity. And it's, I want to say, sort of the divine feminine aspect of that. I feel like you need to play more in your divine feminine energy. So what does that mean? Divine masculine is very movement oriented, forward thinking, not thinking, forward moving, action. It takes the inspiration from the divine feminine and puts it into action. It takes the plan that the divine feminine has created and puts it into action. Well, I feel like the Page of Cups is saying, play more using your imagination, being in that fantasy space. The daydreamer. I feel like for you, there's been a lot of stuff that's wanted to come through in your thought process, in your daydreaming, but it keeps getting halted or stopped. And I feel like not only is it being halted or stopped because of monkey mind, but it's also being halted or stopped because you're trying to tell your brain, no, I got to refocus. I got to reshift. This is my focus. This is what I need to be doing right now. And I feel very much like your guides are basically saying to you, stop stopping the flow. Receive the guidance, go into that daydream state. The rest of the stuff will happen. It'll figure itself out. You'll have the time to do what needs to be done, but you need to get that inspiration. You need to be in that creative play, in that creative flow, in order to receive it. So don't stop the daydreaming. I always joke that I feel like whoever had the bright idea to stop naps at kindergarten, after kindergarten, really needs their head examined, because we really should have naps throughout the day, and we should have story time and song time and finger painting time and more time in our lives for creativity. Well, so someone decided to stop it and put us into a more structured space, but we are all adults now, and we're all, I want to say, sovereign beings. We get to choose and decide now how we can structure our days. And the Page of Cups is coming in to say, please put me in your day so that we can play. Put me in your day so that we can daydream, because I've got inspiration for you. I've got things that you're going to be able to put a plan into action, and it's going to inspire you. It's going to light your inspiration fire, and it's going to open some doors for you that you otherwise thought were closed and gave up on. There's one idea that you had, I don't know when, I want to say years ago, that you kind of gave up on, but your heart still wants to see it come to life. Your Page of Cups is coming through at this time to say, I've got an answer for you. There's a way we can make that happen, but you've got to receive me first. So, Karen, I hope that makes some sense to you. That the Page of Cups is such a beautiful energy to get. So be playful, be in that innocence, be in fantasy mode, be in fantasy or daydreaming mode. Use your imagination. It's underrated. It's grossly underrated. So bring that out and bring that to life. All right, guys, that is our Demystify for tonight. I am going to wrap up right now just because I am so tired. You can see it's like I feel like I'm slurring my words, and I promise you guys know I'm a winette, but I've had no wine. I'm really, really tired. So sending you guys lots of love, lots of energy. Let's get through this, this portal energy. We've got just 2 more days of that heightened supportive energy for what we're manifesting. So continue to manifest, and don't manifest things you've already manifested. Be in this space of how it feels to have already manifested it. Embrace that, because that's the big thing. Oh, thank you so much, Jacqueline. I appreciate that. May you get the rest you need. Mr. Magnum says thank you and have a good night. Oh, Mr. Magnum. Thank you, Rick. That's very sweet. So sending everyone so much love. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Be safe, be bold, be brave, and transform well. And we'll see you on the flip side. Oh, subscribe, click the bell, all that fun stuff. Get this out for others, anyone who needs this guidance. Take care, guys. Ciao.